Some of us administrators, because, you know, just got tired of being bad in the classroom. So we bad in the principal's office. I meet principal after principal who's sorry from the, you know, beginning of the day to the end of the day because they're not man or woman enough to have grown person conversations, professional conversations. Say, look, partner, you might really like this job, but what else do you think you want to be when you grow up? See, because that's what you do when you love kids and you just deal with grown people. When you love kids, you put kids above all else. You don't sit here and deal with these foolish conversations about making grown people feel good about themselves. No dribble basketball selves. No, we keeping score here, partner. You're losing. And as long as you're losing, we're losing. You can't have a school with any losers in the building. They got to go. See, because if you for 1 second have to think when you like a kid about when you put together his schedule, you're like, no, you're not going to take math with her. Yeah, you're not going to take English with her. Oh, you got to take English with this one. When that's the one, when you can pick the one, somebody got to say something. When you are in the building and you know that these people are not doing the job, you are a co-conspirator. Don't think you're getting off with, well, my classroom, in my class. I love what she said, in my classroom. We teach, my kids are learning in my classroom. Bully for you. What about the other kids? What are the 120 kids that go to other classrooms? What about them? They don't deserve it? They don't deserve a better school? We're better than this. You're better than this, Birmingham. You ought to have a school system that you can be proud of. You ought to have one that you know you're going to send your kids to. Some of y'all think, man, we got to sell this house, or we got to get a cheaper house so we can pay for education somewhere else. I mean, y'all ain't lying. You gotta know, come on, man. See, because it's all good for us to come here and have this conversation about how much we feel in pain. But you ain't sending your kid to that school. And every single school that you can think of that you would not send your child to, why on earth is it open? If it's not good enough for yours, it ain't good enough for anybody's. I swear to you that your children are not any better than anybody else's. I don't care how much cuter you think they are, how much smarter you think they are. They ain't no different than anybody else's. I met a bunch of kids from all different walks of life. And you know what? At the end of the day, they're kids. And I know you thought because you got a little something going on for you, you got a little couple thousand square feet, something, you know, bedroom that ain't nobody staying in. Because you're going to come up now, call a little office, whatever. Oh, I done been in the black middle class for at least 6, 7 years now. I still don't know which forks would go with. I thank the people. Y'all only gave me one fork to choose from. I'd still be sitting there. Food would just be there. It's not good enough to be good enough when you're talking about people's children. You may have the cure for cancer down here in Birmingham, but he may give up raising his hand because that teacher in the classroom that everybody knows can't teach is his teacher. And he's got her all day. And she done kicked that little boy out of class so much, he just figured out to put the desk out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't going to come back here. I'm tired of getting thrown out. We know better. We know better. And if it's going to be embarrassment that's going to move you, then we're at that time. You've passed the point where we understand, because we don't. Your children have every right to have the best education on earth. It doesn't matter from where they come. You see, in New York Harbor, there's a statue, you've heard of it, and on his feet, right at his feet, says, brings your child poor, huddle master's yearning to be free. Well, the only thing that we promise a person who comes to this country is an education. Do you realize that? It's the only thing we promise. We don't promise a job. We don't promise anything else. We promise that we will give you the same American education every other child deserves in this country. There should be no such thing as regionalism. There should be no such thing as a difference between where you get education. How is it possible that you have schools in the nearby communities that are among the top in the nation and they don't trickle over to here? How is that possible? Why is that okay? You see, So many of us will spend more time firing high school basketball and football coaches than we will teachers. We'll crowd a gymnasium, but we won't go to a PTA meeting. We'll come and we'll holler at the superintendent about something that really wasn't. I mean, brother, good luck with that job. Because I don't like people yelling at me. I yell back. The focus is in the wrong place. You need control of your schools. You need control of your schools. And more important than that, you need control of the resources that run your schools. You need vouchers. And I mean vouchers. I don't mean half vouchers. I don't mean sort of vouchers. I mean the real deal vouchers. And then everybody says, well, you know, what happens to the kids you leave behind? When was the last time you went to a school system that had choice and kids didn't leave? Every single school system that has choice has at least a 50% participation rate. Nobody told you you had to go to Auburn. But if you live close to it, and if the college system was run the same way that the high school system is, you'd have to go there. Makes no sense. Makes no sense at all. See, what I believe is in school choice. I believe that when a child goes to a school that meets her or his needs, that child will want to go to that school. The one-size-fits-all doesn't work. We have to create a conversation about what works. You have to let go of the past and move to the future. You have to acknowledge that you can learn online now, and it's compelling. You can have smaller communities. You can do homeschooling. We should not put a child in a situation where they simply cannot be homeschooled because the parent can't afford to. When you look at the resources differently, you can find a more effective way to spend your resources. And when you find a more effective way to spend your resources, you will create better schools. So the question becomes, when is enough for you? When have you been embarrassed enough? When have you looked at the system and thought, man, there ain't really that many choices? When will you realize that the chairs on the Titanic are all going down? No matter how much money you put into a system, if the product is not great, then the product will not be great. And the money was poorly spent. I am saying to you very specifically, you must transform the schools now, not next year, now. School reform is a lie. School reform is edu-speak for, hold on a minute, I'm going to get to you. And so 5 years later, after this kid's gone from the 8th to the 12th grade, he's still waiting for things to improve. Meanwhile, you pulled your child out immediately. You see, I don't know whose kids are who. When I'm here in Birmingham, they're all yours, as far as I'm concerned. From where I sit, they're all yours. I don't know who they're kin to. I don't know whose house they're coming from. I don't know whose house they're going to. But I see where they live, and they're all yours. And when you begin to acknowledge that every single one of these children is yours, you will treat them as if you do your own. I'm so proud of what Birmingham Change Fund is doing. I'm so proud and amazed by it. But there's, you can go ahead and but not even they can do it alone. Every hand has to be on deck. Every eye has to be on the ball. Every shoulder squared and every mind laser focused on making sure that you create the most compelling school system in America. Why not here? Why not here? Why not in the bosom of the civil rights movement? Why not here? You know how to do it better than anybody else. Why not here? If Egypt can change from a Facebook posting, then why can't Birmingham? How much more do you need? How much more evidence do you need? How much more blood needs to run through the streets? How many more funerals do you have to hear about or attend? How many more kids have to quit? And how many more nights do you have to drive and decide which neighborhoods you're not going through? Every single one of these children wants one thing, is to be loved. That's all they want. It's the reason why they join gangs. It's the reason why they play sports. And they're willing to be motivated by people older than them. Think about this for a second. If you can convince a child to put a helmet on, a football helmet on, and shoulder pads in 99-degree weather, And tell that child that if he does this, until his body breaks down, all those who play football, you understand, right? Till your body literally stops working. Because your body does do that. It really just says, man, hell this, I'm done. You pour me water all over, I'm done. If a man can stand in front of those young men, those same young men that everybody else is saying can't be held still, can't be made to focus, if a man can stand in front of them and promise them that if they do this, they will go to college, because that's all they want to do. They want a college scholarship. They want to go to college. You got to hear the symbolism. They want to go to college because in their minds, college is anywhere but here. The desire to be in the league is to get out of here. If these children can be convinced to do what their body is telling them that they should not, it must not, then you must know that they can also be convinced to do homework. They can also be compelled to act a particular way in class. When they know that they are loved and they know that they are respected in a building where parents are also teachers, when principals are also parents in the same building, when they feel like they're part of something, children will do anything. It's why they join gangs, because somebody told them they love them. It's why little girls get in bad relationships with grown behind men. They all want the same thing, to be loved. And when your community sends the message that it's going to leave a school that looks more like a prison, both in operation and output, open, then you are saying to every single child, every single one, I don't love you. And they hear you. See, children don't have wisdom. They have instinct. And there's a big difference. Wisdom is what happens when you start to lose some of this and turns different colors. But instinct is what the Creator puts on you. It's the thing that makes you feel. And children know who love them. They know every single teacher who loves them. And they will come in there, and I don't care what size they are, how big that boy is, how small he is, he will come in and he will hug you and say, hey, miss, I love you. He'll actually say it. And they'll say it to the men in the building, they'll say it to everyone. They just want you to love them back. That's all they want. But they can't feel loved in a building that doesn't say love. So the question is, do you love your children? Do you love your children more than you love the comfort of knowing that this system is going to be the way the system always is? Will you choose love of children over the comfort? Will you choose children over adults? Will you choose the future over today? Will you have the hard conversations, but the important conversations? Are you ready to change the world again? Is this generation of Birmingham's residents prepared to take the mantle and run the rest of the race? It's time to change. It's time to change forever. You came here for the Birmingham Change Fund. Now let's make a change in you. Thank you so much for your time and attention.